Hey friends, my name is Christine. How are you? And welcome to my vehicle and today's video. Today we are going to do a variation on my extreme grocery budget challenge videos. I have done many in the past. I have an entire playlist for you down below if you have missed any of the previous ones. I did one way back in February where my family volunteered at my local food pantry, which we've been doing for the last 5 years, showed you what was in the box, recreated the box, and showed you how to cook from it. I wanted to do that again, but the whole Rona situation has changed the way the volunteers work and the way my local food pantry works. It's still a little different. If you are struggling with money and getting food, there are a ton of programs out there that are made for people to never go hungry. I think you can call, in my last video, someone said you could call 211, 411, and they would have that information. Your local libraries, community centers, radio stations, sheriff's office, school district. I can't remember all of the places that would have that information of all the things that could be available in your area. Also, a lot of areas will have different programs. They would have a senior center with free lunches every day like mine does, family crisis center, a food bank, a food pantry. These are all different services that help you out. Because of their limitations, my family and I are not able to volunteer now. So I am waiting in the line to go pick up a box, but before you get angry at me, I did want to tell you that this food pantry has a Facebook group where people who would like a box but either don't have a car or are stuck at work and can't come, or there was even one girl that is hooked up to a chemo machine right now. Oh my goodness, and couldn't make it and needs the food. People will say, can you grab me a box? Can someone get me a box? That is what I am doing. I am here helping out one of those people, picking up a box for them and taking it to them. But in the process, I am going to be able to view the box and then recreate the box. And that is what we are cooking from this, well, I was gonna say week. Last time I did the food pantry box, it was 2 weeks because it was so much food. That's what we're doing. I'm picking up, I think it's 2 boxes actually. They're different things, but anyway, well, I'll show you later once I get through this line. Do you see all those lights? Those are all cars. That is the whole line waiting to go through. That's the line that we have to get through. I have no idea how long we are going to take doing this. I just made that turn that I've been telling you guys about. I think I've been in line for 25 minutes so far. Okay, here are the volunteers. They have you sign in and keep records of how many people come through. It's usually about 600 families every month. This is everything that the food pantry delivered today. There is 1 gallon of milk, 12 containers of peanut butter, 2.5 pounds of fully cooked breaded chicken patties, 3-pound bag of onions, I believe this is 5 pounds of potatoes, a 4-pack of Thomas English muffins, 1 box of mini apple snack pies, 24 slices of American processed cheese, 1 package of plain bagels. I have, 10 strawberry yogurts, 3-pound bag of apples, 1 pound of mini carrots, a frozen container of fully cooked chicken taco filling, 1 frozen turkey that I believe is about 10 pounds. Here is everything that they delivered. I am going to take, and cottage cheese. I'm going to write out a little grocery list so I can go and purchase all of said items, and these are all going back into the box for the donation for the girl that wanted to come to the pantry but was not able to come because of not having a car. I am going to deliver these to her right now. I guess it's time for us to shop and get cooking. One morning for breakfast, we can do 1 of the mini apple pies, a pretty good serving of cottage cheese, so we can get some protein, a little bit of healthy fats here, some carbs, and not quite as healthy fats over here, but hey, this is what was given to us and we are going to use it. If you want to bump it up a little bit, if you've never tried cottage cheese with grapes, do it. It's life-changing. It's really one of the only ways I like to eat cottage cheese is just with cold, fresh grapes. Is very delicious. Anyway, breakfast number 1. Breakfast for the next 2 days for my family of 6, almost, not everybody gets yogurts, is a toasted English muffin with as much peanut butter on top as you want because we were given so much peanut butter, and a strawberry yogurt. Now I did only get 10 of these, so someone's gonna have to go without, but pretty tasty. I'm a big fan of toast with peanut butter. It's one of my favorite things. And because we still have English muffins, we can do just English muffins toasted with peanut butter for another breakfast or 2. Really easy breakfast, and don't laugh at this because this is something I had a lot as a kid, is melted American cheese on a bagel. Seriously, you just cut it in half and you put 1 slice of cheese on each half, pop it in the microwave, and you have breakfast. So let's make these right now. Okay, let's put this in the microwave. 30 seconds ought to do it. Ended up taking about a minute, and it's pretty warm, so maybe let it sit for about 30 seconds to cool off, enough to touch it, and then go ahead and have that. I know it looks weird, okay? But don't knock it until you tried it. I loved this as a kid. It's seriously was one of my favorite little snacks. One of those few things that I could cook by myself when I was 8. For a lunch or dinner, you can have chicken sandwiches. You put cheese on it, lettuce, tomato, ketchup, mayo, whatever you like, some roasted carrots. I also had the potatoes, so you could also do like homemade fries if you want. Throw a banana on the side, some fruit, whatever. I don't know any kid that doesn't love a chicken sandwich for a meal. We are gonna do some of the easiest meal prep ever with one of the cheapest foods you can use, which is potatoes. I am cooking these baked potatoes in my Instant Pot, although technically it's a knockoff. I find that most of the knockoffs are like the same, so if you get a pretty good deal on one, don't be scared to get it. I just have these washed potatoes on a rack with about 1 cup of water at the bottom. This is the entire 5-pound bag of potatoes. Half of these are going to be just a baked potato meal, and then the other half we will use for a breakfast. Could not be easier. You could also do this in a crock pot or in your oven, it's whatever. Help me find it. Okay, so I'm gonna go on steamed potatoes, which I know it looks crazy on the camera, but in person it doesn't. It's about 25 minutes at high pressure and hit go. So I'll see you back here in 30. Now that your baked potatoes are done out of your Instant Pot, this can be just a meal by itself, and you can top it with, I kind of smushed it already. You can top it with butter and sour cream, or you can do chili. I have these sweet heat baked beans. I think I'm gonna stick on mine, and this can be its own meal. And if this is a little small, throw a second one on here. You can have 2 potatoes plus this, and there are a ton of healthy vitamins in that skin, so don't be scared. The other half of the potatoes I'm gonna stick in my refrigerator to cool, and we will use them tomorrow at breakfast. I have my onions going in my cast iron pan, and when these are done, I will add in my chopped cold baked potatoes that I made last night. My onions are done, so I've added a half a stick of butter, which is not wanting to melt for some reason. Don't worry, it'll get there. And all of my chopped potatoes. The secret to really making the hash browns really good is use way more fat than you think, because these are very, very dry. Potatoes are just dry in general. Like if you're gonna make a baked potato or mashed potatoes, you typically add a lot of milk, butter, and then you're gonna wanna get in here with some heavy salt and pepper and season those up really well. So for breakfast this morning, we have scrambled eggs and like a country style hash brown, and I like mine really crispy. I'm a huge fan of crispy food. If it's crunchy, I'm probably gonna like it. You can also shred the potatoes and do them that way, but this cubed style just makes it really easy for the whole thing to come together. If you've never had apples and peanut butter for a snack, or truly even for breakfast, I don't think you've lived. This is one of my favorite things to snack on. It's one of my kids' favorite things to snack on. And I didn't have to purchase anything extra to put together this really delicious and healthy snack out of that box. Dice up some apples, maybe bananas if you have those around. Put a big dollop of peanut butter on your plate and let your kids go to town. For tonight's dinner, we're gonna finish up the rest of our chicken patties by making a mock chicken parmesan. So we'll cook these in the oven until they're fully cooked, top it with some pasta sauce, some mozzarella cheese, maybe some Parmesan cheese, and I'm gonna boil up this Barilla veggie penne in a pot on the stove, put it all together, boom, dinner in about 20 minutes, and something that my kids actually really like a lot. The box is going to be using a bunch of the carrots, a couple of the onions, and while they did give us a whole turkey I don't have a whole turkey, don't want to buy one, so I'm just using chicken from my freezer. Basically, if I had had the turkey, I probably would have just cooked it in my Instant Pot until it was cooked all the way through and deboned the carcass so I could have cooked meat. I'll just use these chicken tenders to cook in a pan. A couple of other things I'm going to be adding: some garlic, some celery, which is pretty inexpensive, flour, chicken bouillon, because we are going to be making a chicken pot pie. It's one of my favorite things. It's really easy. You can season it any way you want. And to make it really easy, we are going to top ours with biscuits instead of trying to make a pie crust, although I have done that in the past as well. So I'm just gonna chop up these veggies and start cooking my chicken in a big pan. So let's bring this over here. I have a very large 14-inch skillet here, so we'll add a little bit of fat, probably bacon fat, the chicken, some salt and pepper, and that is it. Now that my veggies are kind of soft, I'm gonna pull out the stems of the thyme. So let me get these out, and then we'll kind of finish up the filling. I added some butter, and now here comes a little bit of flour. Cook this together for a couple of minutes, and then we'll put in some chicken broth, put our chicken back in. If you have some extra potatoes, I frequently use cut up cooked potatoes as a filler in chicken pot pie. They're so cheap and they extend out the dish really easily. You wanna cook the flour for just a couple minutes so it doesn't taste like raw flour. Chicken broth is in, and here comes the chicken back. And so we'll just kind of cook this together until it thickens up a little bit. And if you wanna add, oh come on, some heavy cream, some milk, cream cheese, sour cream, all of those are fine options just to thicken it a little bit. And if it's too thick, of course, you can always add a little bit of water. And because this is basically our filling, please taste this for salt, because this is our last chance to season it before we pop it in the oven with the biscuits. And if it's a little bland, add more salt and pepper. If you don't have a skillet this big, then you can move this to a baking pan or a casserole dish or whatever, but this is such a huge skillet and it is oven safe, so I'm just gonna plop my biscuits right on top. If you have the flake biscuits, you might wanna slice them in half maybe, that way, right? So they're a little thinner on top. I think these will be okay. Okay, let me get a few more. So these are just the Pillsbury biscuits, or you could do the Great Value brand. It's whatever's on sale, whatever's cheapest. And I'm gonna stick this in a 425-degree oven. Oh look, that's perfect. Just like that. I think this is 16 biscuits. Going into the oven for about 15 minutes or so. Okay, see you in 15 minutes. If I didn't mention earlier, please use oven mitts to take this out of the oven, and I needed 2 hands and it was very, very heavy. Tell me this is not going to feed 6 to 8 people, and I'll laugh at you. It's hard to tell on camera. This is a 14-inch skillet and it is tall. This is a huge amount of food right here. So let's dish it up and give it a taste. Yeah, that was kind of a messy plating, but there you go. I have about 1.5 cups of the filling and 2 biscuits on top. I think I have enough for like 3 biscuits for every person. I think I had 16 biscuits. Is that right? I had like 20 biscuits. So if I'm serving 8 people, it's 2 for some and 3 for others, if I got that right. Anyway, there we go. Feed my family. If you want to try chicken pot pie, but you don't want to make the crust or anything like that, don't want to do store-bought crust, the little refrigerated biscuits are a really, really nice cheat. No, I did not forget about all of that taco meat. So I mixed mine up with ground turkey instead of the chicken taco meat that they gave us in the box. But there's a couple of really easy things you can do with this. First of all, you can just make tacos. You're watching me here make some burritos. So I just had these tortillas in my freezer, some canned refried beans, some cheese in my fridge, layered it all together with the taco meat, wrapped it up, and bada boom, bada bang. You have a really easy meal that all of my kids really like. Another option you can do instead of just regular tacos or burritos like this is you could do nachos, like sheet oven party nachos. You could also do a taco salad with a lot of nice fresh veggies and let everybody build their own. That is always a winner in my house. You could even make taco soup, which is something I've done before. So basically you take your taco meat, a couple of cans of diced tomatoes, some beans, and some chicken broth and throw it in a soup pot. And then they can add sour cream and cheese and chips at the end at the table. It's one of my husband's favorite things, actually. And lastly, I do have a turkey tetrazzini or chicken tetrazzini. I'll leave this recipe down below for you. I will have recipes down below of as many of the items as I made in today's video as possible. And while I did add a couple of extra ingredients to the main components of this food pantry box, I tried to use as few as possible and as cheap as possible items. So if you like today's video, hook me up with a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet, and let me know down below which meal looked like your favorite and which one you might be willing to try in your household. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video.